In this video, I want to go over a couple of rarely used commands because they're kind of very specialized. And I want to show you how to use them. There's something you can use very quickly to help you visually display things in your drawing, and they can serve a lot of different purposes. The two commands are called solid and donut. Now, the solid command isn't creating a 3D solid like your box or your cone or your sphere. This is just a two-dimensional 3 to 4 point area that's been filled in. Now, the donut will create a circle or a ring, one of the two. It'll have thickness. It'll be either a completely filled in circle or it'll have a ring around it. Now, when AutoCAD draws the donut, it's really drawing two different polylines that are arcs and they have a thickness assigned to it. And I'll kind of show you what that looks like once we draw them. But to help you out here, let's open up a file. Let's look at the solids and donuts file. This is just a simple object here. It's a little bracket. It's two different plates, each about a 1/2 inch in thickness and about 3 by 4 inches long here. And this is a 3 by 3 box here. Now it's going to have 1, 2, 3 different holes drilled into it, right into these 3 little spots right here. I have the center lines shown here. Now we were going to attach these 2 different plates just with like a 1/4 inch fillet weld type of a thing. And we're going to use the solids to help show where that fillet weld is at. And we're going to use donuts to kind of show where these holes are at as well. These are just 2 different basic examples to show you how you could use a solid or a donut. So if we start the solid command, you can just type in the word solid, press enter. Now it's kind of tricky to use because you can't really see anything while you draw it. It asks you for your first point. So you just click somewhere on the screen. So you can't see where you drew it at, so you have to be very careful with it. Then it asks for a second point. Now remember, a solid has to consist of at least 3 points, and it can only have up to 4 points. So I click my first point, my second point, now my third point. Now I'm going to click my fourth point, and it's going to draw that shape. I'm going to press enter. Now when I select it, see, it tells me it's a solid, and I can grip edit these. I can move them around, and it draws them in order. So your first point, second, third, and fourth. And it's essentially going to take these 4 points and it connects the dots and then fills it in for you. Point 1 will always go to point 2 and 3. Point 2 will always go to points 3 and 4. You kind of get the idea here. So when I start the solid command again, if I want to draw a form of triangle, I pick a point, second point, and a third point, and then I press enter. So it works the exact same way, but now I just have a triangle instead of 4 points. Now, another thing you can do with solids is you can keep drawing solids. So if I pick my first, second, third, and fourth point, you see I keep going, and it says specify third point. Well, it treats points 3 and 4 from your previous solid as points 1 and points 2. So if I click here and here, see it's going to keep going. And I can just keep going until I press enter. Now, each one of these is its own object. You can see I'm selecting them one at a time. And then once they're there, I can delete them. I can erase them. I can move them, rotate them. I can put them on different layers, etc. So it's a nice way to shade an area that's not a hatch. It's just a solid. And I can do a lot of things with it. So let's say I want to show what a fillet might look like here. So this plate is about 1/2 inch. So let's just put in a 1/4 inch fillet weld. So I'm just drawing a circle here to kind of give me an idea at a radius of 0.25 inches. This drawing is in inches. So I need points to snap to here and here. That's what I'm going to do. So I'm going to draw in a solid, press enter, pick my first point, my second point, my third point, press enter. And I've got a good old fashioned looking fillet weld in my side view here. This is just some application that I've used in the past for a solid. You can do a lot of different things with it as well. You can fill in an area with it and you can just show it that way. Why would I do that instead of a hatch command? Good question. One reason is that it's just one command. I draw the solid, boom, it's in there, I'm done. And I know it's going to be solid. I don't have to work with boundaries and a hatch. I can just create the one simple shape and it's there. So let's look at the donut command. Just type in the word donut, press enter, You can also find the donut command here on the home tab and the draw panel. It's right here, donut. So if you haven't entered in any diameters for your donuts yet, AutoCAD will default to 0.5 for the inside diameter. Press enter, it'll default to 1, and you draw a donut. So you just enter, and then you click where you want your donut to go, and you can put these all over the place. Now, the interesting thing about donuts is that it's not its own object. There is no donut object. Unlike the solid shape here, if I select it, it's a solid. But a donut is really just a polyline. And the polyline here has been made up of 2 different arcs, and it's set to a polyline width. You can see right here, it's set to 0.25. Now these are in absolute units for your drawing. And in this case, the drawing is set up in inches. So it has a width of 0.25 units or inches. And that's how wide this is right here. Now you can manipulate these. You can copy them. You can trim them. You can also manipulate them just like you would with a regular polyline. So you can get some interesting shapes with these. They can look kind of weird. You can do a lot of different things with them. Now, if you select them, you can't really change their radius because it's a polyline, and you can't really do that with the polyline, not through the properties panel. Now I can change the radius here if I stretch it, but it doesn't get both sides. So if you want to make your donut circle a little bit bigger or a little bit smaller, you can use the scale command, and that's going to scale it up or down. Now, if you want a donut that's completely solid, you just tell the inside radius to be 0, and then you tell the outside radius to be whatever it is that you want it to be. So let's say I want 1-inch holes drawn in here. Well, that's going to be too big. Now I have my hidden lines drawn in here, so I'm going to say donut 0. And now I'm going to pick my line widths here instead of typing it in. So I'm measuring from this point to this point, so I can see my donut is going to be large enough. I'm just going to insert it at these intersection points, or the midpoints of these center lines, because I have it set up that way. And you can see I have these drill holes in through here now through the top view. That's another use that I've used them for buttons, or for just circles, targets, different things that you need to show, but you want it to be solid. And again, what's the advantage of using a donut over a hatch? Because I could draw 3 different circles and then put in 3 different hatch patterns to fill it in with a solid hatch pattern. That works too. But again, I just have one command. I can drop it in and draw it very quickly, very easily, and it's less that I have to work with. So it's up to you. If you want to use a hatch command to fill these things in, you can. If you want to use your solid or your donut, you can do those very quickly.